Happy Saturday. I know most of you are probably like, who is this woman that is on our brother Emmanuel's page? Well, my name is Jasmine Joseph. I am hosting or taking over his YouTube and Facebook page today, and I am so excited to be here with you guys today. So our topic for today is going to be, what does stewardship look like for a Christian? So me and Emmanuel are both in the financial space right now, but we're both Christian. And I think over all things, that's kind of what connects us. And it's like, okay, let's teach people how and what it means to actually steward well as a Christian. So I hope you guys are super excited. You can get your pens and your pads. I won't be before you long. I feel like a whole church service right now. I won't be before you guys that long, but I definitely hope that you guys are excited, and I'm super excited to be present with you guys on today. So first, I'm about to start my church announcements really fast. I feel like I'm in like a whole Baptist church, like first giving honor to God, who's but honestly, I am so excited and honored to be on this platform with you guys. As my bro invited me, and his beautiful wife Kiana have both been killing it with their debt-free journey. Like, I'm sure you guys have watched some of their videos. They have been killing it, knocking off the debt, and just being really good stewards. And they are the perfect example, great example of a Christian couple who's really honoring God, even in their finances. So really thank you guys even for having me on this platform today. As I stated, my name is Jasmine Joseph. I am the founder and creator of My Budget Binder. It's an actual product that assists you on your financial aid journey, that helps you to with stewardship and healthy money habits. And so definitely make sure that you guys connect with us there. I just see it pop up on the screen. So that's a little bit about me. But where did my love for finances come to as I just jump in briefly? My love for finances came as I made a whole lot of mistakes, you guys. Probably a few years ago, God began to take me on this journey of just really honoring him with my finances and with paying off debt and all those things. And let me tell you, it was not an easy journey, because up until my early teenage years, when I say I was just reckless with my finances, I mean the stories, getting credit card debt. Like, one of my credit cards ended up like being like they closed it. Like, it was just, so I made a whole lot of mistakes, but because of those mistakes, it's like I can almost see God's grace and mercy as he allowed and opened my eyes, if you would, to just what it really means to take care of what he gave me, instead of just spending and obtaining debt and different things like that. And so that's really where my love for finances comes from. It helped me with paying off my debt and really just setting my my heart, if you would, in the discipline of being a good steward. And so that's a little backstory on me. So again, I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. Our topic today, and if I keep looking over, I have my notes. I always have my little laptop right to the side. So our topic for today is, what does it mean to steward well as a Christian? Okay. So, and why is that important? So a lot of times when people think of stewardship or just speaking about finances in general, I think that sometimes there is this stigma, especially sometimes in the church, to where it's like taboo. Like, you hear about finances, it's like, oh my God, prosperity gospel, or oh my God, we don't think about the wisdom that God has instructed us to be good stewards even over our finances, right? A principle that we see a lot of times in the Bible, all throughout the Bible, is faithfulness in stewardship. So throughout the whole Bible, hey sis, I'm gonna try not to keep jumping in because I will talk to y'all. Exactly. A lot of times in the Bible, we see the principle of stewardship and faithfulness. All throughout the Bible, we see God instructing his people to be faithful and to steward or honor the things that he has given us. That includes our vessel, our body, our minds, renewing our minds, and even the aspect of what he has given. So some key scriptures, y'all know I'm about to take us to the Bible today. So some key scriptures that I wanted to go to and reference, and it's one of the most, well, not one of, but it is definitely important because it sets the tone from the beginning. And in the book of Genesis, it sets the tone for God's expectation for man as it comes to honoring what he has given us. So I'm going to take y'all to the Bible. So we are going to be in Genesis chapter 1. You can review chapter 1 through 3 as well. So in the book of Genesis, we see when God literally forms everything. When everything came into fruition, God is like, boom, earth, here's this, here's man, I'm gonna breathe into the nostrils. But one important aspect, and it goes along the lines with finances and stewardship, a principle that we can see is that when God formed Adam, that he put him into the Garden of Eden and he gave him a command. So he gave him a job to do. He gave him something to steward or honor over, which is you have to till the Garden of Eden, right? You have to till it. I'm putting you in charge of this. And this is where we start to see the principle of faithfulness, right? God has called you in some aspect in your finances, in your life, in your marriages, and all these things. He has called you to steward or to govern over something that he ultimately is in charge of, right? So that includes your finances. When God put Adam inside of the Garden of Eden, he told him, I want you to name the stock. I want you to toil the ground. I want you to keep this thing that I have given you. I want you to honor it. Now imagine if we did not take that same principle into our finances. We're like, okay, God has given me this good job, but you know what? I'm going to start obtaining debt. I'm going to start just not being mindful of my money. I'm just going to go and ball out, knowing it may not be in my journey right now. It may not be mindful of me to actually do this in my finances right now. But God is calling us to honor these things that he has given us dominion over. Another popular scripture, another one that people love to read, is a book about the talents, or the scripture, the verses about the talents, right? That God had given a few people, I think about 3 people, different talents. Here, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you, I think it was like 10, 5, and 1. And when the parable came back, it was a parable. When it came back, God is like, okay, so what did you end up doing with this? We go back to that principle of thing. I want you to be faithful over the things. Again, it's the principle of the matter. I want you to be faithful over the things that I have given you. And not only that, I want something in return. And what he wants in return is, I want some like return of investment. I want an ROI in what I have given you. And so as a Christian, I think it's important, and I'm sure Emmanuel can testify, that what we are doing in our lives, we are showcasing God's glory even in how we manage or mismanage our finances. So imagine, as Christians, that let's say we go out and go get this huge debt. We go get either a car, something we know that we can't afford. We go get these houses. We have all of these great expectations. And I understand the aspect of hope and wanting to have faith in something. But we go get these things sometimes when it may not be mindful, but we're supposed to be showcasing God's glory in all that we do. So that means even in how we manage money. So then when we can't keep up with the payments, and it's like, God may not have told you to get that in the first place. And it's like, oh no, I want my light to be shown. I want this. And then people see you kind of in that aspect of lack sometimes, but it's lack that we may have brought onto ourselves, right? Did God really call you to buy that right now? Did God call you to take out that huge loan, knowing that it's not wise right now in this season, that you won't be able to make those payments right now, right? And that doesn't mean you won't ever be able to do, but I think getting into the habit of discipline, and what does discipline look like as believers, I think that's something that we have to really take into consideration, and that needs to be preached or classes taught for believers. Another thing, so one of the fruit of the Spirit is self-control, right? We see that in the book of Galatians. We see the list of the fruit of the Spirit, self-control, all of those things. But we don't practice that same self-control when it comes to our finances, you guys. And I think that's something that has to be talked about. The Bible, Romans, talks about those who are led by the Spirit of God are sons of God. But are we being led by the Spirit of God even in how we manage our finances? Okay. Are we having discipline in what we do, how we are spending? And that's why I am such an advocate for budgeting, you guys. I speak so heavily about budgeting because it puts us in the position to practice the self-control that we're supposed to be walking and operating in the first place, right? So that's another thing I'm gonna tell you guys about, is actually how to start a budget, because I don't believe in just like telling you guys all these things and they sound great, but we want to actually showcase the practical side. And I'm just going to do a quick plug. That is why my bro Emmanuel, he has an actual, if you ever need advice on starting a budget or your finances in general, he has helped multiple people already pay off their credit card just from conversing with them. And so I'm just going to do that plug. If you need any help, he is here to help you, and you can contact him and set that up via Zoom as well. I have to throw that in there really fast. But yeah, so self-control, you guys. There is a practicality to everything that God is asking us to do. So just like God put Adam inside of the garden even to till something, there we have the Holy Spirit empowering us even in this aspect. So it's not like we can walk like we are unwise even in our finances, you guys, because we have the Holy Spirit empowering us. But it does take discipline, it takes self-control, and it takes being practical even in what God has given us. So what may that look like for you guys? If you guys are looking, let's see, to purchase a house, right? That may look like not just merely like, oh my God, I'm gonna name it and claim it and I'm gonna throw this out there and I'm gonna get this house. It's like, but can we upkeep what God may be calling us to have or receive? Can we upkeep these things? It's like sometimes we just throw out these phrases and names, not really understanding that we have to manage it. Like after we can have expectation, we can want to have faith for these things, and they're not bad necessarily, but it's like, can you even upkeep, and do you have the discipline in your mind to even manage what you are expecting? And so I'm gonna give you guys some practical tips today on even how to start your budget, on how to start your finance journey, just so that we are getting in that process. The number one thing a lot of people like to ask is like, Jasmine, I don't have the discipline. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what that looks like. You may not have learned that. A lot of us, I know if you guys have watched Emmanuel's series, he has shared his testimony, which is bananas regarding finances. And a lot of people have that same testimony. You know, a lot of people did not grow up learning about money management, but there are so many resources like Emmanuel. There's so many resources available that are free to help and assist you on that journey. And I think that's why this is a subject that the church needs to talk about more in classes that kind of need to be discussed and put in place so that we can be good stewards even over our finances. So a few practical tips when you are starting, how to be more disciplined. That's one of the first steps that we're going to talk about. To be more disciplined, I always tell and instruct people, you need to write out a plan and you need to set a goal. If you do not set a goal for what you want to see, you guys, it's less likely that you're going to keep up with that with you actually seeing it like either on paper or some form or in a budget binder. Without you seeing it in play, guys, you need to actually set a goal and have a plan. What does having a plan look like for you? Are you paying off debt? I know Emmanuel and Kiana, they are on a debt-free journey right now, right? After their debt-free journey, they may be like, oh no, we want to save like 100K within the next few years, right? So you need to get very specific with your goal so that way you know what you're reaching for. You're not like, okay, I'm just starting and I don't know which way I'm going. It's like, no, I have a set specific goal. I know exactly what I'm aiming for. And that way you can actually keep on the path, right? So you need to set a specific goal for your finances. What does that look like for you? My goals right now for my finances may not look like what it will for your finances, but that is a part of honoring God. And that's a great prayer to pray. I think that's an honest prayer to pray. God, help me even with my finances. I don't have discipline, God. That's what, and I am also an advocate for being honest with God. Like, if you're kind of reckless with your spending, take that to him. Like, don't be ashamed. Like, God, I need more discipline in that area. So that's a great prayer to pray. Lord, help me to have self-control. Help me to honor you with my finances, God. Help me to honor you with my paychecks. And that also goes back to gratitude, you guys. I mean, it's so many different sectors when it comes to finances as a Christian. That goes back to being gratitude, how the Bible talks about honoring God in all that we do. That means, God, I thank you for this paycheck from this job. Like, I may want to have more. I may want to have increase. Lord, help me. Show me different avenues, God, that I can take on multiple streams of income so that I can quickly pay off this debt, God. Like, how can I do these things? So you're not just going into these matters carelessly or not being mindful, but you understand, though, God, you are equipping me, God. You are empowering me, Lord. You have truly given me in the exercise, the liberty to make sure that I'm honoring you in a way that is pleasing to you. So again, go to God and be so honest and transparent with him regarding your finances. So we have this set a goal. We have how to be specific with your goal. So maybe your goal, let's say, is to make 100K. No, let's do another goal. Let's say your goal is to pay off 20K in 12 months. You need to get even more specific with that, okay? So let's say you want to save $3,000 the month of between January and like March, right? If you want to save $3,000, you need to get specific. How am I going to do that? You need to review, what are my fixed expenses? What are my variable expenses, right? Where can I cut down so that I can actually meet my goal, okay? It's not enough to just speak the thing. And I think that we can even relate and correlate that to the Bible. A lot of times it's just talking, right? And how the Bible talks about not just being a hearer of the word, but also being a doer of the word. in this aspect, the same principle, we're not just speaking, oh my God, I want to be debt free. Oh my God, I want to save. Oh my God, I want to have better habits. I think those things are attainable. Like, you need to understand that they are attainable for you, but you need to actually be doing. Like, it's not enough to just say like, and I'm hopeful, and I hope that you guys, as you're watching this or replay watching this, that you guys like, I know I can do it, but I want to see some feet and some faith to what you are speaking and expecting right now. So actually doing, and doing looks like creating a plan and writing specific goals for yourself. Okay. So again, if you want to save, let's say pay off 20K in debt between January and March, how are you going to do that? If you know that your income at this moment, you don't have enough to save the extra money to be allocating and putting away to pay off your debt, how can you take up extra things? I know Emmanuel has shared as well on his different platforms that he is doing, I believe, Lyft or Uber. He's doing one of those. And he is like, listen, if you need to pick up a side hustle to pay off this debt, then do that. In some seasons, it may look like that. Some seasons, it may look like Lyft and Uber. Okay. Some seasons, it may look like having to pick up extra things. And I follow a few different people in the financial sector who are Christians who did the same thing. They started working side jobs from their full 9 to 5. And every season may not need to look like that hustle and bustle type of situation. But for the most part, if you have a goal, how are you going to meet that goal, you guys? Okay. So that was a little backstory and just gaining that discipline in the foundation for starting a budget. You would make about $1,200 a month. You guys, $1,200 extra dollars from an extra side hustle. I mean, think if you do that for a full year, how much you would have to put away towards your debt, you guys. And that was Emmanuel speaking, of course. So again, we went back to the practicality of it, starting your budget. When you're starting your budget, I always tell everyone, you need to know and have an exact input and outlook on what are all of my expenses. There is no way you can properly start your budget if you do not know what bills that I have. And that's why in my budget binder, I have a section specifically for everyone to write out all of your bills. And I always tell people, write out the smallest to the largest, because I'm telling y'all, that little iTunes and stuff like that, that little $3.99, $5.99, when that thing comes out, you're like, okay, now I'm overdrawn, right? I've had that before. It's like, okay, you forget about the little bills. So having a place to where you can actually see where all of your bills are, where they're coming from, it's going to put you in the right position. So you know that, okay, if I get paid on this date in this date, then I know for this paycheck, I can pay all of these bills, and you know how much money you have left, okay? So a practical example would be if you had all of your bills, you wrote them out, and let's say all of your bills came up to, let's say, I'll do $1,200 like Emmanuel, put an example. Say if all of your bills came out to $1,200, you know that you bring home $1,500 for that specific paycheck, right? So you know after all of your bills, that includes your gas, that includes, I also include like any things that I may need for like my pets, your pets, insurance, groceries, expenses. I always tell people to also have like play money. Like I personally like to go out to eat. I always share that. I like food. So I'm like, add all of that, and you can add it under like entertainment or something like that. Add all those different things into your budget. And then at the end of that, so now you know I have $300 left. If you have $300 left, you can be expecting that every paycheck. That means I would say you can put at least 200 of that away and start adding it to pay off your debt, or add it to start saving money, or add it because you and your family want to buy a house, right? That is one of the principles of understanding faithfulness in stewardship. I am honoring God by taking control of my finances. I am honoring God by seeing what I can and cannot do, and just expecting and throwing out blanket statements, expecting God to give me all of these things that I know I'm not in the position, either mentally or for my discipline, to actually steward what He has given me. Okay. We have to learn and work towards honoring God, guys. It all literally goes back to honor, reverencing God in all that we do. We see that, I think it talks about that in the book of Ecclesiastes, after Solomon searched and searched and searched. He went after all these things. He searched for hope and joy and love and satisfaction in every aspect of life. Without understanding, he came to the end of himself and was like, listen, I found that God and man's duty is literally to honor God. We honor God with our body. I know the Bible talks about honoring Him with our body, but even in the actions that we do, how can people see God's not his, see how he is able to be glorified even in our body if we don't steward what he has given us. We're always behind in something, and this is in no way to shun people, because I understand that really may be your reality, and that's why I always want people, exactly in the book of Ecclesiastes, see, he in here dropping scriptures. I understand that is some people's reality, you may be living paycheck to paycheck. And I never want to get on anybody's platform and condemn people for the reality that a lot of people do live in lower income or in poverty. But I want you to get in the mindset of discipline. This is really what it's about, guys. Honoring God is setting the tone for discipline in every area. I know as Christians, we understand the liberty that we have, the freedom that we have, the victory that we have in overcoming and not being a slave to bondage. We know Romans talks about that, not being a slave to the bondage of sin even anymore, right? We have the victory through Jesus Christ. We have the victory in all these things, but we also have the victory to be empowered to live as unto him, to live and overcome these things. If we are not practicing the discipline in even our finances, guys, that will eventually trickle over in every other area of our Christian walk. So if I am not disciplined in my finances, will I be disciplined when it's time to overcome something else I may be struggling with? All these things can actually be correlated. And so we have to take that back and really reflect, how can I do better? How can I do better? What can I do more of? How can I love more? I mean, and even think about it in that aspect, you guys. It's really an act of love. Taking care of our finances, being mindful, or even pursuing to be in a position to where we can help other people. We know our call as Christians, of course, is to preach the gospel, but it also talks about, going to the widow one, going to the person who may be abandoned, going to all these people, the person who may not have a family. But how can we do that if we ourselves are not in the proper situation to be able to give to them when they are in need? To be able to give to them when we're in need. And that includes with our finances, with our resources, with what we have access to. But if we do not set the standard and have the discipline now, we will not be in that situation to actually give to them. We would not be in the situation to give to them, guys, if we are not taking control. I mean, imagine a lot of people, you pay off your debt, you want to leave a legacy, all those things are great, but also be able to contribute to the kingdom. We cannot contribute to the kingdom if we are not honoring God, stewarding our finances and our resources that he has given us, and bringing some return so that we can put that right back into the kingdom, so that we can further build these churches. And I know it's probably like, oh my God, I want to go to the nations, I want to plan all these things, but being able to do that right in your hometown. Like if you've seen someone that was in need, one of your brothers and sisters that is in need, that doesn't have a place to stay, that doesn't have food, clothing, and all these things, but you've been out here just spending your money kind of recklessly, not being mindful, not honoring God, you would not be in a situation to not only give them the gospel, but also give them the resources. I love the example of the story that Jesus about the 2 fish and the loaves of bread, right? The multitude, thousands of people came to hear Jesus preach, right? To hear him. They were following him. They came with an expectation to obtain something that was spiritual. But Jesus said he made sure, I'm not just going to give them something that is spiritual. I'm going to also feed them in the natural. So he gave them something, give them the gospel, speak with them, disciple people. That is amazing. That's our call and mandate. But also beyond that, I want you to know I have resources to where you don't even have to leave hungry. If I have clothing, I know the Bible talks about Jesus like, if I was hungry, you didn't feed me. If I needed clothing, like you weren't able to do this. Why were you not able to? Like you were not honoring me even in that aspect. It goes back to love, God. Guys, it is literally showcasing your love, loving your neighbor as you love yourself. If I have it and I'm available to do it, you guys, I can do that for you as well, because I have from the beginning and have been praying, Lord, help me to honor you in all my ways. Teach me to honor you in all of my ways, God. I don't want to just say that I love my neighbor. I don't want to just say that I love you, Lord. Help me to steward and honor even in my finances, in how I manage my money, God, and how I'm saving and how I'm preparing and creating a legacy so that I can actually be able to do for people and not just speak about it. It's all about honoring and stewardship, guys. And as I am closing, I want you guys to really take away from this. It is not even necessarily, this moment was not to preach like, oh my God, you are about to be like some billionaire. If that be the Lord's will, then, Godspeed. But it's really the discipline that's going to carry you. Honoring God, stewarding Him, stewarding in your finances, in your resources, in your gifts and your talents, what He has put you to govern over, including your finances. That sets a tone for the discipline that's going to carry us everywhere. So if you are not able to discipline, let's see, like $20, $100, how can we be expected to manage the more if we can't even manage what we have right now? It goes back to honoring God, just as the Bible says, honoring Him in all that we do, giving thanks in all that we do, understanding that the plight for man is literally to serve God and to love people. So I pray that you guys were blessed by this. It was truly an honor. Of course, we about to just throw that honor word out there all day. But I do pray that you guys are blessed by this. Even if you guys catch the replay. And really, if this was something that was kind of just stirring in your spirit, see if that is something God is leading you to maybe create some type of something in your church, a ministry in your church for finances. Because again, in the body of Christ, I believe it needs to be more talked about in a healthy way, a healthy aspect. What does money management look like? How to do these different things, open up accounts. What does credit mean? All these different things. So creating a healthy platform to where we can discuss this. It's not just like, oh my God, prosperity gospel, but how can I actually manage money properly in a way that properly honors God? So in my closing remarks, thank you so much to Emmanuel and Kiana for sharing this platform. And my bro is hopping right back in.
Well, that was amazing, amazing, amazing. I am going to give you my password for my YouTube channel so you can start.
Please stop.
No, definitely. It was awesome. Awesome
Thank
word. I love how
you.
you brought scripture. I love how you mentioned the word honor, because the Bible does say that we must honor God in everything that we do, whether in
Exactly.
body, whatever we eat,
Exactly.
finances, everything. Of
Exactly.
course, we're going to fall short because we're not perfect,
Yeah.
but we must be consistent. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, I'm gonna write it in the chat and then I'm gonna showcase. And it's every time you pay off a debt, you give yourself a raise, which is more money towards debt.
I
Right?
love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yes, it's true. Because many times we want, dang, I wish my job can give me a raise, this and that. But if
Exactly.
you have debt, just think about that. Every time you pay it off, you have a new raise. You have extra
Exactly.
money. You know what I'm saying? That you can
Exactly.
put towards advice, towards your debt. And this
Exactly.
sister Janet, she said great advice. So that's awesome. Praise
Yeah.
God that she was able to
Hi,
tune in.
Janet.
She's also from Cali, by the way,
Hey,
California.
girl. Woo woo. I'm in Sacramento, sis. What's up?
California in the house, all right, but
I
this was
love
really
that.
good.
Thank you, bro. I did
I,
want to actually add something just because that quote was really so amazing that it kind of just made me like mind blown. And I always think that and say that a lot of times when people get like car payments or different things that they're not able to uphold, it's like imagine, and again, this is not to like, oh my God, they're horrible bad, because I know some people kind of are in that situation. But if you can avoid it, imagine if you had that extra $300, what you can put that towards. And then not only that, you're paying this $300 car payment, and then you're paying like 150 insurance because you got like a new car, so your insurance is going to be more, and it's all these factors that always come into it. So it's like it's more than, imagine if you had that 450 left, you can go out to eat so much. Just kidding.
for real. That is
Listen,
so,
all the
yeah,
tacos.
yeah. That is so true. That is so true, man.
I
this is
like
so
tacos,
great.
guys.
This is so great. I mean, I'm happy and joyful to see more young people like us, young millennials,
Exactly.
coming in into this topic, but whether Christian or
Exactly.
not, because
Exactly.
they're seeing the need for this
Yes.
topic, because most of us, like
Exactly.
myself, did not have financial literacy growing up.
Same.
You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Exactly.
Exactly.
So it's super important that we can be, get financial literacy,
Yeah.
not be ignorant anymore, and let's get.
Exactly.
But we live in a very materialistic country of
Yeah.
United States of America, where we always want the next big thing that's coming out. But the next
Exactly.
but the next big thing is going to get you into the next big debt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Let me
saying?
side note that. Yeah. Remember, bro, I am one of those people, like, I'm just like, listen, if you have it and you have paid off your debt and you are, go crazy. But do it. I'm always like, do it if it makes sense. Like, if it doesn't make sense and you're like drowning in debt, all this stuff, don't do it. But listen, you want to go grab that bag? Go grab it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I wanted to ask. So right now we are still in the tax season, right? And now
Yeah.
that the stimulus check is coming soon as well, which is
Yeah.
bigger than the first one that we
Yeah.
received last year. So what advice do you give for those that are receiving taxes and
Yeah.
are getting the stimulus check and are in debt?
Absolutely. Yeah. I would definitely say to start putting some of that money towards paying off your debt. Maybe allocate it to different places. Like if you want to pay some money on it with your taxes and your stimulus check and then put some of it towards savings, I would say definitely do that. Like use the extra funds if it makes sense in that place right now, because I believe and I know some people are just like trying to play catch up, and I know that's the reality for a lot of people. They're like, I kind of need that money to pay off extra debt and such. But if it is in your means, put it towards your savings. Put it in a place that's going to bring you some return on an investment and not something that's just going to be depreciating value.
Definitely, definitely. For me, right now the lowest debt that we have, or the smallest debt, is our car, the second car.
Okay.
And you know that when we get our stimulus check, that is going straight to the car. And
Literally.
God willing, that car will be paid off in 2 months. And then we're gonna be car. Then we're gonna be car debt free. Finally, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that goes back to what you were saying about how imagine like you didn't have that car payment. You guys are going to have so much extra money and you can be putting that towards things of the future. It literally all keeps going back to stewardship, you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah, definitely. And I just can't wait. Like, listen, when I paid off my car, I don't know if you remember or if I showed you or not, but I made a
Yeah.
video last year in August, and the video speaks about that I have 12K left on my other car, and
I do remember that.
I'm gonna pay
Yeah.
like in 4 or 5 months. And I said maybe December, if not early January. And I
Yeah.
paid that sucker in November. I put down 3K every month for 4 months
I'm
nonstop,
done.
and I paid it off. And mind you, that car was bought or financed in 2019 of April.
Yeah.
If I would have continued making minimum payments, it would have
Yeah.
been 2 years to pay it off. But I paid it off in a year and 7 months. You know what I'm
And this is
saying?
why he's the guru right now. Do y'all hear that? Imagine, you know what's crazy with that is even with you paying it off, there's interest rate that like you're paying. So it's like you would have been paying not just the car payment, but the interest that comes with it. So you literally like just are winning right now because what?
Yeah, yeah. And listen, it feels good to drive a
I
car
get
that's paid
nice
off.
stuff and good and cheap. Stephanie said I get nice stuff, good and cheap. Listen, I like to thrift, but I'm also like, listen, you can get some good quality pieces. Do it if it makes sense for you, sis. Okay. I think I seen somebody put Marshalls in there too. Marshalls is the plug. Okay. Marshalls. I like Ross too. Listen, I like it all, honey.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. I was saying with the car, like I don't remember, like how you drive your car and you have payments, and every day or every so now you know that it's in the back of your mind. Oh, I gotta make a payment soon. Like that's not
Yeah.
even in my mind anymore. At least with the car that I have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it just feels good that I don't have to think about, oh snap, this on the
I gotta
21st of
pay this.
the month I have to make a payment. Like it doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it just
Exactly.
feels good to drive a car that's paid off. Like I don't have to worry about anything. I can do whatever
Yeah.
to my car. I can sell it and still get money from it. I can
Listen.
keep it and whatever. And by the
Exactly.
time we get another car in the future, we're gonna have way more, a lot of cash to pay for it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Exactly.
So
Exactly.
because I'm gonna keep my car until it can't even move or make a
Run no
noise.
more.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Wow.
when that happens, we're gonna have a lot of money to buy another car, a bigger car, or whatever
Yeah.
they can, any cash. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So we don't have to
Exactly.
keep getting in debt for a car. And I know circumstances do happen, emergencies, whatever, and some people do.
Yeah.
They have no choice.
Have
But
to
this is
do it.
why
Yeah.
financial literacy is so important. This is why
Exactly.
me, you, and other people we teach, not to get cars, to not to get in debt for a car if you follow these
Exactly.
steps. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, change your lifestyle when it comes to money.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you don't change your lifestyle, you're
Ooh,
never gonna
that's
get the right.
good. That's
You know what
good.
I'm saying?
That is good.
Because, like I said, we live in a very materialistic world, so we just want to buy this and we want to buy that. I'm not saying that we can't buy things. All right. I asked
Yeah.
one of my another sister in Christ, another person I interviewed a long time ago, just sent, and I asked her uh, about being bougie. You know what I'm saying? What if somebody wants to be bougie and buy stuff? And I love her response. She was like, "Well," because she likes being bougie. She said, "Well, be bougie on a budget."
It's me. It's me. Your
Be
favorite
bougie
bougie art.
on a
It's me.
budget. As long as you,
I
as
love her.
long as long as you budget, whatever it is, hey,
Yeah.
it's not a problem. You
Exactly.
know what I'm saying? Because
Exactly.
once you buy something that's outside of your budget and it was half price,
Yeah.
you didn't buy anything for half price. You just spent money that was not in your budget. You spent extra.
Come on. That's exactly it. Exactly. Like, oh my God, I would save this amount. But you still paid this amount. You listen, now I do
Exactly.
love a good sale. So again, no condemnation. But baby, like, did it make sense for you to do it, sis? Oh
Yeah,
my God.
yeah. That's so true. That's so true. So, Jasmine, let me ask about your upcoming, I guess, stuff that you have, maybe, or even your.
Yeah.
Let me share this real quick so people can know who
Yeah.
you are. Can you talk
Oh
about this?
God.
Can you talk about this?
My budget binder. Yes, that is my whole business baby, you guys. I spoke about it briefly in the beginning of the show, but my budget binder was birthed literally after me making so many mistakes with my finances and literally putting in a platform, putting in a product, the same steps that helped me to get out of debt and helped me to create those disciplines to actually steward what God was creating me. So that is my baby, my budget binder. It is right now a 6-month binder that assists you with different handouts and calendars and aids to help you if you are starting with your budget and really create those habits and disciplines for you. So it created in a 6-month binder. So our next launch is going to be happening in June. Our first launch was in November and December. That was for the first 6-month binder. And our next one is dropping in June. And I'm so excited about this binder. I'm going to be creating year ones because so many people have been asking about the actual year one, but I am, wow. That is it. That is my baby right there. That is our first My Budget Binder 6-month one. I also had, those are our pins. We have so many amazing things coming from my company. Apparel. We have different stationery. So like my budget binder, I know y'all, it's really going to be like mega. Look at it's so amazing. Like that is my whole baby. But yes, our next launch is going to be happening in June. I'm also going to be incorporating ones for men because men have purchased, but more men want a different variety of colors. So I'm going to be taking polls to see what colors people want. But yeah, I definitely expect so much
So
more in
look,
the
look
future.
how beautiful that is. Listen, if I was a woman, I'll be buying like 10 of them just for myself.
No, really, it's really great. I'm not just saying it because it's my product. It really was created in excellence. It's really beautiful. People have raved. It's so classy. I mean, the product, the ship, all of it is very good. There I am.
Look at that. Look at that.
With some
That's
of
so
my
nice.
friends. Yeah, so that is my product. But you guys be expecting. I mean, I want an app. I want to literally just take over. Like that is the whole concept. I want conferences where people come in and speak and really teach people. Like I really want it to be a resource hub. Like our products are literally just showcasing the people as a resource hub for first home buyers and all those different things. So I really want to create like a takeover. Thank you, Kiana. I want to create a whole takeover for people to be able to steward wherever God is leading them to. So yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What are your future, like where are you trying to take this? What are your future goals, your future
Yeah.
plans? Where do you want to take all of this?
Yeah. I want to take it to be a multi-million-dollar company and just take over. I mean, honestly, like take it as far as it will go. Like I said, like I want to create an app. I'm going to create an app. I want to create my own stationery line for my budget binder. And I really just want to get in more spaces to be able to have, like I said, speakers and other people who are
Hmm.
just really experts in things that I may not be in credit, in home buying, in buying a car. I want to take this into classrooms for teenagers because, like I said, I don't want just like how we did not learn about money management until we got older. A lot of people, these kids need it. Like people now are just like, these are classes that, thank you, sis. These are classes that need to be taught. So it's like, I want to create courses and go inside of classrooms and teach people. I want to go to lower income places and teach people and have these things. I want us, people who are seasoned, to hear about this, because it's no respecter of age. There are people who are teenagers and there are people who are wearing their 60s who don't know about money management and financial literacy. So I literally, exactly, sis, exactly, the basic things, spending money, a budget, savings. I want to create these courses and take, again, because this is not just a product to me. The product is an aid and assistance to help you along the journey, all these things I create. But I really want to create a space for people to put them in the position to buy their first home. People, minorities, people who were never experienced and knew that these things were able and they were capable of doing. I want to create that platform for them to really just go even further.
Awesome, awesome. Praise God. And I'm going to be supporting that joint.
Yes. I really do, guys. My bro, he comes through. He has supported my budget binder so much. I mean, from our book giveaway to helping do different giveaways for the actual binder. I mean, him and Kiana have just, I'd be like, who, like, God, why are you like sending these dope people my way? I really be like shook, like, okay.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool. So I still have a few more things I want to talk about. You work in a bank, right? Or you used to? You work in a bank, right?
Yeah, banking for 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, so let me ask
you. Banking for 4 years.
So let me ask you this: is it true that all people who work at banks, they are good at financial management in their life?
I would say no. No. I would not say that. I think if anything, it puts you in the position to be able to see ways that you can do better and grow. Because for some people, they may just be starting off like, I need a job. Even when I started off, there were a lot of people who would come and ask, like, oh my God, do you need a degree? Do you need this to be working in here? Like, because people take this on as a career, but some people just jump into it like, it's a good start paying job for the most part. And so they jump into it from that aspect. But if anything, it puts you in the position to see more than what you have seen. And I'm telling you guys, the stories and the things that I have seen working in banking, it literally set an expectation like there's more. There's so much more you can be doing. There's so much to be when I say there are people, even how my bro talked about paying off cards and cash. When I say I have helped people, assisted them, like making checks to pay off almost 6-figure cars. Now, to them, does it make sense? To them, it does, because they can afford it and they have millions, right? Possibly. So it's like, literally writing checks and they pay it right off. No, I'm putting a down payment. No, they're like, oh yeah, we're about to buy our son. I've helped people literally they've been in such a situation with their finances to where they're like, oh yeah, it's my kid's birthday, I'm giving them the down payment for a house, or I'm buying them a house. And I would just be like, this is normal. It's like it literally opened my eyes to see, because I didn't grow up learning this. I mean, the thought of someone being in a situation like that, it makes me like, I have to aim for more for my future. Now that I know better, I have to do better. I mean, giving, just like, oh, I'm about to buy my kid a house because it's their birthday, grown kids. And I just was sitting here like, or it's people, I'm not kidding you guys, I've helped people pay off 6-figure houses, like literally just like, oh, I want a second house, can you make this cashier's check over $500,000? Oh yeah, can you just make this? I'm about to go buy this at the house. Like, yeah, I just want something closer.
Wow.
Can you even imagine? It's like, so it doesn't help you necessarily, but it does put you in a situation to see that there is so much more and that I could do better. And it kind of forces you in a sense to do that.
Yeah. Wow. That's deep.
Yes.
That's deep.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. Because you would think, oh yeah, people work in the bank, so they got it all together because it's about money, right?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. There are people who are just horrible, and it goes down to the root of their money habits. So if you guys have not seen my first episode of this show, you can go ahead and look for it, and it talks about the root of your money habits, and you can see and trace what happened in your life that you have a bad money habit with, right now.
That's
Whether
good.
it's a divorce in your home, whether it's like
Yeah.
you lived in a
Oh,
very
that is good.
you lived in a neighborhood that was, that's low income community, so you really didn't have
Yeah.
enough money, or
Yeah,
even if you
exactly.
didn't have enough money, because you wanted the nice Jordans and the nice shoes that everybody did, so you
Yeah.
were used up money on credit cards and got yourself in debt,
Yeah.
or you lived a luxurious lifestyle. You come from a home that's rich, but you
Wow.
have no spending habit. Your spending habit is horrible. All you want is
Yeah.
nice clothes, but then you're getting broke for it. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? Like, there's so many different reasons and the root of to find out what is the root of your money habit
Wow.
is. To understand. Because we all have a relationship with money, whether it's good or bad.
Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So that
Exactly.
that is a good. This
Ooh.
one for me buying food.
Stephanie said.
And I mentioned Jasmine. I think you probably heard it because you were there in that first episode that I mentioned that the reason why I used to buy food all the time because I was depressed and I was lonely and I hated my mom. So for me to
Yeah.
escape that pain, I
Yeah.
would buy food because it makes me feel good. Then I go to sleep.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? But
Wow.
that's dangerous because now you're dependent
Wow.
on something that becomes your idol instead of
Ooh.
depending on God. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
So yeah,
That
it's
is
deep.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even. First off, I did not get to watch that episode yet. But
Okay.
as you were talking, even the topic of that is I don't even know how long it is, but that is so profound to me. Stephanie said you just want to avoid the pain by cooking sometimes. See, even as people are commenting right now, that is so profound. Getting to the root, it's like that needs to be beyond one
Hmm.
series. Because
Yeah.
even for me, it kind of just and you were only talking for a few minutes, but it kind of made me trigger and start thinking back on my childhood, like where did this stem from? And I started just like seeing different things, like, oh yeah, I do remember this time. I remember seeing this, like, and it's always attached to some type of emotion as to why we do what we do. And even going back to money management, I never thought to kind of correlate that. I mean, we think back on the traumas, different things in our childhood, but for money specifically, why we act and react the way we do, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
mind blowing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there's a lot of things that we can.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really deep.
I
Really
mean,
deep.
I'm gonna have to like process this honestly afterwards. Like, so this is why I do this. Like, wow,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
I mean, there's a
crazy.
reason why we do everything.
Yeah,
You know
exactly,
what I'm saying?
exactly.
But nobody takes the time to sit
Wow,
down and have a day off and just ponder like, man, like I struggle with this.
wow.
Why do I struggle with this? Why is there
Yeah.
something that happened in my past or what?
Woo.
And I'm not perfect
Wow.
because there's some things in my life that I struggle with and I haven't really sat down and figure out why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but in the financial area of my life, I can find
Mm.
out. So yeah, we can go
Wow.
deep. That's a whole other topic.
A whole nother topic because now I'm over here like, so I need to pull out my journal because obviously, like, now I'm in some think space right now. Because what was that?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
yeah.
that's
Cool. So I have
powerful.
one last question.
Yeah,
Uh,
is it about to be about roaches? Because y'all, last time he played me, and I heard Kiana in the background laughing. Last I said, "Now sis, we supposed to be here." He asked me a question about some roaches, y'all. I was like, "What?"
yeah, what is it? What was it? If you rather eat roaches or what is? I forgot what it was.
I don't remember, but I was just like, "Okay, I didn't see that coming." So it's good to buy gold, though, like valuable jewelry. I think like gold and silver.
You can.
Yeah,
You got to be very careful.
yeah, yes, sis. I think that goes back to just what asset that you want to do, because some people do like to obtain these different materialistic things that's going to in the future bring them
Mhm.
some return. So yeah, if that's something you want to do, I think that would be good.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So I posted something yesterday,
Lord,
and I want you to talk about this, right? I put
yeah,
and for those that follow me on Instagram, you can see it. I put in your debt-free journey, pick up one or more shovels, aka side hustles. Figure
yeah,
out what size shovel you are going to use in order to generate a bigger income. So
yeah,
talk to me about this because a lot of us, I don't know the percentage right now, but I know at least that I can think of from the last time, 78% of workers in America are living paycheck to paycheck, meaning
yes,
that if they were to lose their job, if they were to get caught
yeah,
in an accident or anything happened and they can't work for a couple of months, they don't have
yeah,
money to provide for
yeah,
themselves.
yes,
70%, right? And who knows? Now it's probably more because of COVID and whatever.
yeah,
But how important it is to have side hustles. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
talk about the importance of having side hustles and not just relying on one job,
Yeah.
and talk about the importance of sacrifices coming out of your comfort zone, because most people do not want to do that. They want
Yeah.
the success, they want to be debt free, but they don't want to do what it takes to get there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So I definitely am an advocate for having multiple streams. I know that's a popular term now, having multiple streams of income. Because if anything, when you look at the last year, I think that showcased for a lot of people the necessity to not just rely on your job or not just rely on one thing. So like last year, so many people were laid off. I remember people coming into my job literally just like, I lost my job. I just have a family. I just bought a house. They had
Mm,
all these expectations or all your eggs in one instance in one basket, not understanding that at any moment you could lose your job. I mean, no one's seen the pandemic kind of coming. So even if having that mindset of how can I gain extra money. I remember when I was on my I think I was saving at the time, and I just for briefly started doing, what was I doing? Uber Eats. I always mix them up. I started doing Uber Eats briefly, because it was a goal that I wanted to meet, and I knew that I had to sacrifice to do it. So I stopped
mhm.
doing a lot of the luxuries in that season so I can meet my financial goals. And like my bro said, you have to be willing. Like it may not be easy. There may be seasons where you have to work more. And this is not to just kind of
Yeah.
advocate like, that grind and go hard thing. But for some seasons, it may have to look like that. You may have to take extra sacrifices. You may not be able to eat out as much. I remember, and again, back to like I like to eat, like having to turn down like some offers, going out with my girlfriends, or getting my nails done for like a season, or whatever it takes to meet your goals. Your goal has to be more important than temporary luxuries, because those
Mm,
luxuries, the nails or going out to eat, all of those things are going to go by fast. I mean, it's literally like a temporary pleasure in that moment. But having the luxury of, oh great, I don't have to stress about paying this car bill anymore because I paid off my debt. I don't
mm,
have to stress about having to do this now because I actually work towards it. So it's like it gives you freedom and liberty, and without a lack of stress in your mind when you actually put the discipline. So yeah, definitely pick up side hustles. I mean, there's so many now that you can do, and
mhm.
you can do it from the comfort of your own home. There's so many people who are getting like money checks from like YouTube, like bro, or doing blogging, or people take different surveys and such like that online,
Oh
or
yeah.
Uber Eats and Lyft. And I mean, I think it's kind of endless. You just have to, again, it goes back to what are my goals and how am I going to get specific with earning the money to obtain and meet that goal.
Praise God. Yes, that is so true. That's so true. And listen, I'm not saying this is easy, because when I first sat down, my wife and I, we sat down with our financial coach,
Yeah.
and he looked at everything that we have, and when do we want to come out of debt, and then he talked about doing Uber,
Yeah.
on the side. And I ain't gonna lie, I was nervous. Like, I was
Yeah.
scared, because I already had my one job. She had her one job, and then to
Yeah.
pick up another job, like so many thoughts. Oh, I'm not gonna have time for life anymore. I'm not gonna be doing this,
Exactly.
or I'm gonna. What about my car? Like, it's gonna be wearing out. I'm gonna be like so many thoughts.
Yeah.
Scary, but you know what? I took that risk, and look where I'm at now. We paid
Exactly.
off like $36,000 in 2 years.
Crazy.
You know what I'm
Crazy.
saying? And all we need is like 34 left.
That
You know?
is the freedom. I mean, even in that statement, imagine if you were still had $34,000 in debt. Now the freedom of like, I don't have to make those payments. I mean,
Mhm.
hello vacation. I know y'all got to be planning something like hello
Yeah,
vacation. Like,
yeah,
wow,
yeah.
home, all that stuff.
Exactly. So that there is freedom when it comes to, and I want to clarify or make something straight for everybody. Being debt free is not our ultimate goal. That's
Yeah,
a short term goal. Because
yeah,
when we're debt free, now what? We still got to think about the
exactly,
future. We got to still put. We got to think about
exactly,
retiring, right? Putting money into retirement. Because
exactly,
whether we
exactly.
want kids or not, or especially if we want kids, like, I'm gonna die one day.
Yes,
He's gonna die one day. So my kids need to be well off. You know what I'm saying?
yes,
So we
exactly,
got to think
exactly,
about retirements, and
exactly.
buying a house if that's your somebody's goal too, long term goal. So we got
Yeah.
to think about that. So short term, getting out of debt is only a short
Come
term goal.
on. Woo,
You know what
that
I'm
is
saying?
so powerful. Okay, because I know we have like some minutes, but I'm like, you can stay on that right now. That is so powerful. I think one of the things that kind of even just opened my eyes and was to me this week, like last week when the Meghan Markle and her husband, when all of those things started transpiring, it was stated and it came out that like Princess Diana like had left her son, and
Mm.
that's how they've been able to be afloat and still do these things after, you know, kind of being just kicked out or whatever that is. But the
Yeah.
principle is that she left her son something that she didn't even know or not would be alive to know that he would actually need that legacy and inheritance that she had left for him years ago. So it's like you may not be around to understand what the money and the financial things that you're doing and taking the steps right now is going to benefit your legacy, but it is going to. And you need to think, like you said, being forward thinking. Paying off the debt is just one step to financial freedom. But what
Mhm.
can I leave in the Bible? I think it's the book of Proverbs talks about a wise man leaving a legacy
Mhm.
for your children. It is
Yep.
necessary so that we are not in the same. We're basically not leaving them where we started at. We started not knowing. We're not leaving them broke where we started at, but we're leaving them with something in return. Yeah,
Amen.
that's it.
Amen. Woo! Love it. Love it. All right, guys. So we
So,
are closing. I just first of all, if you got, I had interviewed Jasmine back in December. So if you guys,
yeah. Oh wow.
if you guys want to go look for it and know more about her life and what she's about, you
Yeah.
just go to my playlist on interviews and discussions, and you can find her there as well. And then as well, you can find her. I'm gonna put it right here. You can find her
Come
on
on.
Instagram
Come
and
on.
both of her Instagram pages and her YouTube channel. So you can just easily find her there as well.
Yeah.
If you
My
want to get more
IG guys
information.
is Jasmine A. Joseph.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Got it. So Jasmine A. Joseph. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So there you go, guys. You can find her there. It was a
Follow the girl.
pleasure. It was a pleasure talking to you. Well, it's a pleasure you coming to my channel, taking over.
Thank you.
You
Listen,
know,
I was
and
on the show for the first time. Period.
yeah, yes, and I just pray that the Lord, continues to bless you, sending people your way with the budget
Thank you.
binder and whatever other projects that you have mentioned that you want to put
Thank you.
for in the future. So we'll still be connecting. Again, I told you, I'm here to support you.
Yes.
Whatever it is, I'll let people know who you are and what you're
Listen, I
about.
appreciate you.
And for some of you that are in here, like Stephanie and I think Janet, if she's still in here,
Yeah.
stay tuned for 5 o'clock. I mean, for another hour, and at 4 o'clock, I'm going live with, George, which is Rise Ministry. I'm going to be interviewing him.
Come on.
You only know him based on the show that me, him, and JP does on Sunday nights. It's in the Word, but you're going to know more about Rise in a more personal level. So hopefully you can tune in for the 4 o'clock interview. So with that being said, I am going to bounce out of here. And Jasmine, you rock. You rock.
Wow.
All right, Jasmine. And everybody else, peace. And
Bye, guys.
we'll
Thank
keep in touch.
you.